For today's weekly grammar lesson, we're going to be teaching common errors between French, Canadian English, and American English.
In today's newscast, learn what French, American, and Canadian English are and how to differentiate the three with the help of examples of spelling, vocabulary, and pronunciation.
First off, let's start with the difference between Canadian versus American English. So Canadian English usually ends with O-U-R, E-Y, Q-U, R-E, S-E, and L-L.
Compared to American English, where the endings tend to be O-R, A-Y, C-K, E-R, S-E, and L.
Here are some examples of the Canadian endings. Color, honor, odor, gray, racket, center, pretense, and traveler.
And some examples of the American endings are color, honor, odor, gray, racket, center, pretense, and traveler.
So the vocabulary for American and Canadian English are different. For instance, us Canadians say toque when referring to a hat used in winter.
In contrast to whereas Americans say beanie or hat. The US will often use the word soda or say the name of the drink when asking for it.
Whereas Canadians will ask for pop. When Canadians speak, they speak slower than Americans. Most Canadians also pronounce the last letter of the alphabet differently. In Canada, we pronounce it as Z.
And in the US, we would pronounce it as Z. Here are some scenarios where the difference in pronunciation between Canada and US English is apparent. When little Billy, who is a fellow American, is hungry, he will then ask for pasta.
While John, a Canadian, will ask for pasta. As John's house is going through renovations, he will tell his friends it's a long process.
As little Billy would say, it's a long process. With little Billy's mom and being an interior designer, they have a lot of vases.
While John would say he has a vase. Now, for the differences between French and Canadian English. So the two languages have many similarities in their endings, but are still different.
The French endings consist of E-U-R, E-M, R-E, Q-U, and E-N.
Compared to the Canadian English endings, which consist of O-U-R, A-M, R-E, Q-U, and A-N. As you can see on the screen, the endings are very similar, but a few letters are different.
Here are a few examples for the French endings. Couleur, honneur, odeur, raquette, exemple, théâtre, et canadien.
And next are the Canadian English examples. Color, honor, odor, racket, example, theater, and Canadian.
The French and Canadian English vocabulary are also very similar. Toque and sofa are said in French, but also is said in Canadian English, in the Canadian English language.
The only difference is the way we pronounce it, one in French, the other in English. We also both pronounce the last letter of the alphabet as Z.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us today for a special grammar segment. Hopefully we were able to teach you the differences.
Goodbye. Don't forget to watch us next week.
This is Jeopardy! Today's contestants are two grade 10 students from ESEA. Let's give a warm welcome to Ivy Lebrun and Camille Leblanc. Today's categories are US versus Canadian English, French versus Canadian English, collective, and fun facts. Camille Leblanc, you get to pick the first category. To start off, I'd like to pick US versus Canadian English 200. Okay, so US versus Canadian English 200 often uses our as an ending. Canadian English. Yes, that's the correct answer. Now you get to pick the next category or stay in the same one. Collective 400. Okay, category 3, $400. Has influenced English in more ways than English speakers would like to admit. French. Congratulations, Camille Leblanc, that's the correct answer. You can pick the next category. French versus Canadian English 200, please. Category 2, 200. Spelling is which as example written in that way.
Canadian English.
Congratulations, Ivy Lebrun. That's your first correct answer. You can now pick the next category or stay in the same one.
For the next category, I would like US versus Canadian 600.
Category 1, 600. Influenced by French roots.
Canadian English.
Yes, correct answer. Bam, $600 goes to you. Now you can pick the next category.
Fun fact 400.
Category 4, $400. Most commonly used in the media.
US English.
Good job, Ivy. Pick your next category.
Collective 600.
Category 3, 600. Combines the aspects of American plus British spelling. Canadian English. Good answer, Camille. What a comeback. Now you get to pick the next category. I'd like French versus Canadian English to 800. Next up, category 2, 800. Certain words can be said/spelled in French and in English. Name 2 examples. Baguette and ballet can be spelled and said in French and in English. Congrats! Now pick the next subject. Fun fact 200, please. Category 4, 200. Known for saying at the beginning and ending of sentences.
Canadian English.
Wow, Ivy, you're on fire. That's another correct answer. Now pick the next category.
I would like US versus Canada 400.
Category 1, 400. Removes the entire verb from sentences.
American English.
Another correct answer. Now you get the chance to pick the next category or stay in the same one.
I would like collective 800, please.
Category 3, 800. They drop the letter U to show independence. US English. The correct answer goes to Camille. Now you get to pick the next category. Category 2, $600. Influenced a lot of other languages. French. Correct, that was a hard one. Now you get to pick the next category. Good job. Next, I'd like to pick the category of fun facts and 800. We're almost done. It's close. Category 4, $800. When referring to Canadians, you can also call Canadians Canucks. That is correct. Now pick the next subject. Next subject, I'd like US versus Canadian English, 800. Category 1, $800. They say pop if they want a Pepsi.
Canadian English.
Good answer, Ivy. There's 2 more questions to go. Which one do you want?
I would like collective 200, please.
Category 4, $600. Absorbed from other languages such as French and German.
Canadian English.
Good answer, Ivy. Now for the last question. Lastly, category 3, $400. Spelling based on how the words sound.
US English.
Thank you for watching today's Jeopardy! Come back next week to see our next guest!